back in the 1800s, of course, it was cotton and cattle, some. Then in the early, probably 1920s, is when peaches were introduced. In the 30s and 40s, it was primarily a peach farm. My dad went to World War II, came back and acquired some more ground, and the acreage that we're working now was acreage that he acquired in 1946 with money that he'd saved up from his time when he was in World War II. He planted peach trees in 1947, so his first harvest on that ground was 1950, and that was the spring that he and my mother were married. I always said that she married him for his peach crop because she was from a peach family also that was here locally in Johnson County. So background from both sides, both of my parents are pretty deep in the peach industry. When Mark went to college, the only advice I gave him was do whatever you want to do. If you want to come back to this farm, bring something back that will add to it. And he certainly has done that.
I got my master's degree and came back here. I was very fortunate that Dad said, come back and we'll figure it out, type deal. And so, a lot of people my age that were in school, coming back to the farm was not an option. So I was very fortunate in that regard.
Mark and I met through a mutual friend at the U of A. I actually went to Ouachita Baptist in Arkadelphia for my undergrad. Moved to Little Rock, worked on my master's in clinical nutrition, got my master's in that. We dated, I lived in Little Rock, he lived here. Decided that, we were gonna get married, so once we got married, I moved here. And I work at the hospital here in Clarksville now. I'm the Director of Nutrition Services and a registered dietitian. It is a lifestyle and it is a huge adjustment. So it's taken me, I'm still adjusting. So 5 years later, I'm still adjusting. The time commitment is just huge. Sometimes Mark gets calls in the middle of the night saying cows are out and he's got to go. So that's just part of it. It's a lifestyle. It's just completely different than anything I've ever experienced. I mean, it was rough at first because I had no idea about agriculture. Both of my parents had jobs in town, and being in agriculture is just something completely different.
Being a wife of a farmer, as anybody can attest, there's times that I lean on her pretty hard, for taking care of kids. I've always got clean clothes, always got food on the table, and I lean on her pretty hard emotionally. Sometimes I need somebody to talk to, and so she really does a great job with that. And really the food safety aspect there, it's really good to lean on her, the paperwork, and really from a dietetics, standpoint, looking at, what we grow, how it fits into people's diets, how people, really looking more to consume local fresh fruit, has really helped us.
Customers are constantly asking about, are your peaches organic? And from a nutritional standpoint, I can explain to them, the pros and cons of organic and things like that. So food safety probably is one of the biggest assets that I can bring to the table to educate the public. There's always that difficult person, but whenever you can get through to somebody who truly understands, that's really meaningful. From a scientific standpoint, Mark and I, we can have conversations like that and talk and understand each other. But then there's, the general public who don't understand, and coming from that general public and trying to get them to understand the agriculture side of it is a big challenge. But whenever you can break that barrier down and really get to them, that's really rewarding.
But really social media has just exploded, within the last few years. So having a presence there, also, in some of the more, there's more regulation these days, food safety, GAP certification, being a little bit more open-minded that, hey, it's here, it's not going away. So, we got, when we follow a lot of that stuff anyway, so being, a little bit more open-minded of, hey, it's here, let's just get it done. And really the social media presence has really helped us out for our top operation.
They're more likely to be open towards a dietitian, and if you kind of take a step back and take a step out of the farm role, I kind of have to step back from being Mark's wife, and I have to step into the dietitian's shoes and say, well, this is what the research shows.
None of us really know what direction the world's going to go. We totally believe and have our hopes in that they're still going to eat, that the world's going to eat, and that we're able to supply, through the Pickin Paradise, we're able to supply a tree-ripe fruit right straight to the consumer. And I think Mark and Shay will be able to keep that marketing idea alive and add to it, bend it into whatever the future holds.
I enjoy looking to the future. A lot of it does involve, what I can do to leave it a little bit better place, as to what I got it. I would like to expand ground. Lack of labor is an issue. It's always difficult to find people you can trust that can really work hard, and a lot of that comes with expansion. I really enjoy the peach business. It's something that, grew up in, really want to continue that on, and if that means, maybe possibly expanding in acreage someday, then that would be something that, I would really look at doing. As far as, overall, it's important to me to be a good dad too, and to be able to, maybe take off to watch my kids play baseball or softball or something like that too. So, really balance is really important to me in the future.
Do you pick peaches?
Do you pick more or eat more?
I'm eating more.
Yeah, I eat more. You can look at everybody here. It's all family for the most part, and my aunt, and several others aren't even here today that usually come in to help. So, it's a good time to be together, and also to, when the public comes in, they see us as a family, and they say, it's good to see y'all working together. That makes us feel good. It's good to be around each other.
It's really special to spend as much time as we do with family, and after a few years you look back, you have to take a step away and you say, that's something that's pretty special that a lot of people don't get. You're going to have bad years. In Arkansas in the peach business, there's going to be freeze-outs, there's going to be hail, there's going to be issues. Lack of cash flow is something that's, we look at quite a bit. And so we really try to manage, from a financial point, to limit that. You've got to have that year if you get froze out, or even those 2 years in a row where you have, partial crop. That's why we have the cattle, that's why we have the poultry. You got to be able to lean on other things, just like any diversification, in crops. You're not always going to be, if all your eggs in one basket, it's really easy for that basket to get kicked over. So, that is something we look at. Beef cattle, I've got a master's in animal science, and I've always really enjoyed it. I love the data part of it. We do a lot of performance, record keeping, weaning weights, weights that we can go back and look at what a dam has done, who she's bred to, what her performance numbers are. We draw from multiple states, multiple areas. When it's peach time in Johnson County, people know that, and we're very fortunate. It's very humbling, and just the daily amount of people that say, thank you for doing this, thank you for letting us go out and pick. At the other place we couldn't go out and pick our own. Thank you for still doing this, and it's very rewarding and humbling just to hear, that on a day-to-day basis, and it makes it easy to go to work every day. And, I think that's why I enjoy peaches so much. You're just right there able to provide the end consumer with a product, and it's, instant. They can taste, it's not like a beef or poultry, where there's some processing there. I mean, to have kids come out, families come out, they can pick it off the tree, You know, it's tree ripe, they can taste them, it's instant. You know, and that's something that in horticulture we really enjoy because it's instant gratification. You know, and whenever you see a family come out, pick it off the tree, and they say, wow, that's different than the grocery store, you know, that's the whole basis of what we do. And so, you know, we really like to see that as farmers.
We had a customer yesterday that came out of the orchard, and he just said, I don't know. He said, he looked at me in the eye and he said, I don't know if you're a religious man or not, but I want you to know that while we were in the orchard, we prayed for these trees and we prayed for you that you'll be able to continue this and that we'll be able to keep on coming out here and picking peaches. And when somebody says that to you, it inspires you to keep going.